How do I get? How do I get a menu on here? I don't want a menu on here. Get that off here. Now I got a menu on my live screen. What the hell? No, it's probably always there. I just didn't notice it. According to this thing, I'm live. Oh well, it's Friday. Sure enough, yeah, the magic is worn off because now every other imbecile on this planet has discovered that you can park in front of the admin section where the three handicap spaces are. So, sure enough, I pull in my usual time, and yep, all three are full now. And that's the way it's going to be from now on. I already know it. So, yep, my Friday started off great. And now I'm parked over here where I have no idea what the parking rules are now because, as I told you, they're tearing up the middle of the parking lot. And normally I park in a handicap spot because I have arthritis in both ankles on both my feet. And depending on what kind of day it is, either I'm walking in here in pain or I'm hobbling out of here in pain. And like I said, you ought to see the x-rays of my ankles and feet. You'd see a clearer picture of the skyline in Beijing than you would my x-rays because I have osteoarthritis in both of them. And now here I am. I'm parked over here. I'm right in the middle of a bunch of cars that are not of my make. And now I got to wonder, am I going to get in trouble for parking here? And I'm going to have to mention this when I go in. I'm probably just going to go walk in straight into the union office and go, look, guys, I'm not hobbling out of here half a mile at the end of the day. Because if that's the way it's going to be, then, oh well. But I might as well talk about that because there's nothing to talk about as far as Doctor Who goes. Not a thing, nada, yada. And like I said, I'm dying laughing at all these channels that have already started speculating that the show, this has happened, that has happened. And of course, Shooty's been, picking up jobs left and right, here and there, front and center. And hang on a second. I think I am going to go complain to the union. Go, look, where the hell are we supposed to park? They don't even have any spaces marked out here for handicap. It's basically a free-for-all. And it's like the placards that would normally be out are all shoved up against the fence over here, and they're not laid out. They're just shoved up to be there. They're not parking any spaces. But here's the thing. The Epstein thing, oh God, I don't want to get political, but like I said, we don't have any Doctor Who news to talk about, so why not? Epstein had to have really pissed somebody off to even get busted. Because here's a guy who knows where all the bodies are buried, which means somebody had to want him out of the way. Why, we don't know. But, come on, there's no way in hell Epstein committed suicide. No way in hell. Yeah, I already heard that. Yeah, it's like, I don't know why people thought Shooty was coming back. We already knew weeks in advance he was leaving. Yeah, I'll put it to you this way. If Epstein committed suicide, I'm going to grow a full head of hair again within the next 3 months because of some magic cream I got off of YouTube. Okay, it's not going to happen. He did not commit suicide. Yeah, he just happened to commit suicide while on suicide watch in the one section of the jail where suddenly the cameras all went out, and the guy had too many people's names, so he had to go. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he got screwed over by his business partner, what's her name, because somehow she's still alive. I can't remember her name offhand, but that whole thing was an evil mess. And what gets me is, if you want to look more guilty, there was a certain celebrity who, when they were reading names of the flight lists for the Epstein Island thing, And because he mentioned this certain celebrity's name, it was, and he didn't write it there. He was just reading the list, okay, that was given. He was threatened with a cease and desist order and a lawsuit because he was reading the list of the people that were supposedly on the flight list. Yeah, she's in jail, but she's alive. You see, if she wasn't in on something, she'd be dead already. As you learn from the movie Goodfellas, they can get you easier in jail than they can on the street. So something's going on there. Because I wouldn't have been the least bit surprised if she suddenly, had a happy accident or magical accident in prison. You see, there's something going on there we don't know about. But she has to be in on something, otherwise she'd have gone with Epstein. Come on, even Walter White whacked how many people in one day? Oh, well, that was a TV show. But okay. That's what I mean. Epstein had to have pissed somebody off because this is the guy who knows where all the, well, I want to say all the bodies were buried, but he knows where all the penises were getting buried, shall we say. And Diddy getting off on a bunch of stuff, but they're going to still try him for this, that, these, and those. That right there is backroom dealing. This guy is another guy who knows where all the bodies are buried or where all the various, organs were being planted into and out of, basically. Yeah. But if he really, like I said, it just amazes me how many people out there suddenly, are involved in this shit behind the scenes. And trust me, it's frightening. So Behrman went after Ace Creeper, huh? Why would Jenna have to go to Epstein Island? I can't speculate on the whole case. But here's the thing. A lot of people think that, don't get me wrong. Most celebrities you meet are regular Joes. They're people who know they've made it lucky, and, just like I'd say 90%, 99% of the celebrities I've ever met are just kind people. But then you have people out there who think that they're God's gift. Okay, they were somehow ordained to be superior to you. Or in some way. And like I said, you can see it in their eyes, especially the ones who actually go to conventions. Just look in their eyes when they look at you, and you'll know. Like I said, I've only had on maybe one or two occasions a celebrity who, when they looked at me, they were just looking right through me, like I wasn't even really there. I was there to give them money. Now, I highly doubt Harrison Ford was a part of it. Why would Harrison be a part of it? The guy was frickin' Indiana Jones, okay? He could snap his fingers and half a dozen chicks will show up at his house. Even now. Guy's like 1 billion years old, and he's got more hair on his head than I do. God damn it. But there are some people who are living on another plane of existence. Not literally, but I'm just saying, when you think of the amount of money some of these celebrities make, like I said, it's not all of them, but there are some out there. When you think of the millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's like makes you wonder, what are they doing, to get their jollies? Well, the thing is good luck on a new Indiana Jones thing, because they were hinting that Shia LaBeouf was going to take it over, and then, well, we know how that ended. Um, I know people are tuning in now. Where's the Doctor News? We don't have any. Nobody knows shit. Okay, it's that simple. Anybody who tells you they know shit is speculating. All right? Yeah, they've already, like I said, I don't know why everybody has a big problem with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I didn't. I enjoyed the movie. Sure, there were parts of it that just royally sucked. But for the most part, come on, John Hurt, Harrison Ford, you know, I didn't really like the whole, oh, by the way, he's your kid, I just never told you. That trope's gotten old. Um, the problem is, all right, with what's going on is there's always, there's people out there, celebs, millionaires, billionaires, and all that. They do not live in the same world you and I live in. Okay? They don't. They don't have to worry about, like I said, like, look at the cast of Friends. They're making millions of dollars off something they did. When did Friends go off the air? Anyone want to Google that for me? Just off the residuals, sitting on their asses, they're making millions of dollars a year doing nothing. Makes me wonder, where's all that money going? But I'm not saying the cast of Friends is not. I'm just saying, just to give you an example. They don't get up. Most of these folks, like I said, a lot of them don't get up. They don't go to a job. They don't wake up. And like I said, I'm not saying all celebrities are bad. I just want to reiterate that. I'm just saying that there's a group of people out there who seem to think that basically the sun revolves around them and the planet Earth, and the planet Earth was put there for them to walk on. That kind of thinking. Okay? And all the rest of us are peons here for we're the little people, so to speak. Like I said, a friend of mine goes, well, how could you do that? I said, really? You want me to show you how the difference in power is? Let me ask you a question. If you and I were total strangers, and I walked up to you on the street, and you knew I was somebody famous, and you knew I had money, and I looked at you and I said, see that old lady sitting right over there? Yeah, there's no cameras in the area. I'll pay you $10,000 to go up and slap the shit out of her. Would you do it? And then they go, oh, come on, all right, 50,000. There are some people out here on this planet, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 are not even peanuts. I don't even make that in a year. With overtime. And I'm at a well-paying job. Well, I have gotten close to it quite a few times, but that's a lot of overtime. Well, the problem is, like I said, I did not get that vibe off Berriman. A lot of people have been painting Berriman as this egotistical bastard, but like I said, I only met the guy once or twice, I think, and I didn't get that vibe off him. But you see, that's the problem, Saeed. A lot of us do have common decency, but there are so many people now who will happily sell out everything to get ahead. And it's sad. A lot of people say, like I said, everything went wrong when Ugg, as far as I'm concerned, when Ugg the Caveman realized if he gave his buddy 4 or 5, like dinosaur teeth, and he'd go out and do something for him, you know, instead of doing it themselves. Like I said, yeah, a lot of us, I would never do that. Never in a billion years. I don't care how much money you offer me. That's just wrong. But sadly, there's so many people out there, whether it be their personality, their situation, or whatever they're in, who would. I know it's very sad, but that's the truth of the matter. But I do thank you for saying it, Saeed, because yeah, it is a major thing. A lot of us do have common decency, but like I said, there's people out there who are so desperate, be their situation or some kind of need or want or desire, that they'll do it. And that's what makes the world go around, sadly. It used to be love, but now it's greed. Oh, well, I'm getting too philosophical, and I've got to get up and start heading inside because I looked at the time. Please be kind, be calm, be safe. Once again, we will not be here tomorrow because I'm FMLAing out. So take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekends. And if I have any news over the weekend, I'll pop in on you. But otherwise, I'll see you all Monday morning. Take care, everyone.